Take a nice deep breath in, lift the chin. As you inhale, as you exhale, draw the back ribs towards each other. Stretch your side ribs forward. Lift your front ribs up. Let the eyes close. And just breathe in that lifted upper body. Let your breath lift you up. As the days get shorter, it gets darker earlier, our body starts to shift. We might find ourselves more tired in the evening. We might miss the sunlight a little bit more. And we go through cycles. In summer, we'll be more energy, more active. In the winter, we need to rest. Our yoga practice is not here to force us to only be one way. We don't need to bring all the highest energy stuff into our work all the time. It can feel like that though, if you only practice yoga when you come to class, you're going to want the high energy stuff to kind of push you. But remember, yoga is not here to make you something that you're not. It should not be here to disconnect you from the natural cycle of you. It's here to help you connect to that cycle, to nourish it, to enrich it, so that your body can go through what it needs to go through. So you can move through the phases of your life, whether it's your morning practice versus your evening, or your young practice versus your older, or summer versus winter. All of it should encourage and enrich that. So while it can still be challenging, it should not be about too much intensity if you're trying to go with a body that needs to be at rest in some degree. So as we go through the practice tonight, my friends, recognize, even though the poses might have some challenge to it, might be different, might feel easy or whatever, how much of you is trying to make your practice something that is not meeting your needs, is not meeting you where you are. Let your practice be about meeting where you are, about the actions you take in your practice. Attitude, health, all of that. Take a nice deep breath in. Bring your palms together at your chest, thumbs touching your sternum. We'll hold them shortly 3 times and begin. Take a breath. Oh. Oh. Chest up, head up. Oh. Bow your head and salute the essence of yoga inside yourself. Bring your hands into your lap, let your head rise, and your eyes open. Very good. Let's come to a standing position. We'll do a couple of standing poses, get a little bit of blood flowing in the legs, and then we'll move on. Do me a favor. So standing wide on your yoga mat. Turn your right toes out, your left toes in. Stretch both arms wide, Uttanavista, or not Uttanavista, I don't know why I said that. Stretch both arms wide, both legs wide. Bend the right knee into Virabhadrasana 2. And then walk your feet out a little bit wider, disturbing your dog like we just did. So you get some openness to the hips where you feel like you have to actually flex your leg a little bit to keep the lift and action of the body. You have to push down through the feet. And then when you push down through the feet, take a breath, check in with the rest of your body where you're working to open and maintain the shape, and then keep the stuff you need for the shape, but relax some other part of it. Remember what I said earlier, let the practice serve you in this. So if you're going too deep and you're having trouble holding it, back off of it a little bit. You don't have to always make it the most intense thing. Make it a thing that you can feel good doing. Even if your arms have to come down or you need to relax your neck, give yourself permission to let go of some part that's too much. Just because it's too much doesn't mean you're failing. Remember, this is a practice of meeting your needs, not the needs of some other random thing, whether it's a teacher or a book you read or thought like that. This practice is here for you. I am here for you. I hope you are here for you. Take a nice breath, straighten your right leg, turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out. Bend your left knee. See the difference one side to the other. Is this side more flexible or stronger? Can you still give yourself that same level of comfort where you're not trying to just force? Again, if this side's more flexible, you don't have to push on it. So give yourself room to shift, to breathe into it. Trust that you've been doing yoga enough, even if it's this third time you've done this, that you know something about how your body works in this pose. Yeah. Feel free to look at your feet, to feel how your spine lifts, to move your arms, to move your neck. Play in your practice. I'm here to guide you, to offer different options, to offer sequence. I cannot offer you answers to what you're looking for. You'll have to find that on your mat. Take a nice breath, straighten the leg, turn the toes in. Take both hands onto the floor in front of you, standing straddle stretch, beside Padottanasana. So just as in that, with both legs nice and long, hips back, fingertips to the floor, you feel what this is doing in the body, but then check what this is doing for your mental emotional state. Are you pushing so hard that this is something you can't wait to get out of? Can you modify it in small ways, like shift your toes, relax your neck, take deeper breaths, so it becomes something that you can feel in, you can take time getting comfortable in, right? You receive a brand new book for a class, has so much stuff in it, you don't know where to start. Start at the beginning, and you start doing it in small pieces. You modify the pose. Let each pose serve you where your body is. Because before you know it, it will do something for you and you get to gain something from it. Maybe something you didn't even anticipate. I'm sure we all have stories. We came to yoga for something and we got a whole bunch of other stuff. Take a nice breath. Flex the thighs, push the bones back a little bit so you're engaging the legs to support your back, and then let your lower back hang down a little towards your chest hang down towards the floor. Your upper body rest on the arms a little. And then can you take a deep breath into the upper part of the lungs, just like you did when you were in your seated upright position. Take a nice breath, bring the body up. Turn your right toes out again. Have a block nearby if you need one for Utthita. Trikonasana, stretch both arms wide. Shift your right hip towards your left hips. Feel the lengthening of the leg. Push through the feet so you feel the action of the leg shifting the hip. Stretch out with your right arm, right side of your body, out over the leg, and then hand on the block, the other arm up. Try to take the hardness out of the pose. The hardness being the flexion of the joint or the grip of the muscle. Or just even your attitude that I have to push twice as hard because I'm in a class. I've never been told that a dedicated student is the student that tries harder than everyone else. And you trust me, the early days of my yoga class, I was the try hard guy. Never made me a better student. So, like I said, feel free to shift in your pose, push through the legs differently, feel stable, modify how you need to feel some stability, some movement. Because just because I don't offer the adjustment to you doesn't mean it doesn't matter to you. Maybe you need more pressure in your back heels. Maybe you need to relax your toes. Relax your shoulders. Maybe you need to bend your right leg a little bit to make your leg feel stable. All of these are valid. That doesn't mean there's a form of it that we can get to, but where you are now is what matters, not what you think will be tomorrow. Take a breath, bring your body up, turn your right toes in, your left toes out. Arms out wide. Uttahita, stretch out over the left leg. Make sure the legs feel stable. Shift the hips. Lengthen those ribs out. Take your left hand down to the block, your right arm up. Uttahita. Trikonasana. Lean your upper body back slightly, Shubha. There you go. Yeah. And remember, this is a spine lengthening action, everybody. So remember, the spine starts more or less at the sacral plate and goes up the length of your back all the way to the base of your skull. So if you're letting your head kind of shrink and truncate down into the neck, remember to lift the back base of your skull and your chin so both sides are long. So you're letting the neck be a part of the spine. It doesn't mean you have to look up, but just even moving the head back while looking the same direction as your chest can change your upper back muscles quite a bit. Get us out of this cell phone pose, or what we all are stuck at, keyboard pose a lot. Take a nice deep breath in, bring the body up, turn the toes forward, take your hands onto the floor again, standing straddle, Pasada Padottanasana. Use blocks if you need. Prop yourself, support yourself. Check your feet, make sure that both sets of toes are pointing the same direction. Remember what I've said in past classes, don't be afraid to look at your body in your practice. Remember, if yoga is to yoke mind to body, the eyes are a powerful tool to learn where your body actually is in space, so that you know to feel alignment because your eyes have given you some visual cue of it. Take that nice breath, let the legs be strong and lifted. So your abdomen can take a nice breath, your low back can hang towards your mid back to your upper back towards the floor. So remember, the spine is from the base of the sacral, is from the sacral plate to the all the way to the back of the head. So check your neck. Are you letting the back of your head elongate? So your neck is getting in it, not tucking it and forcing it, but just extending too. Take a nice breath as you exhale. Slowly bring your body up. Turn your right toes out, turn your left toes in. Rotate your pelvis to the right, rotating the left hip towards the right thigh. Take a nice deep breath, lift both arms straight up. Bend the right knee, Virabhadrasana 1. And can you breathe into the upper lungs? The lift of the arm should help lift the ribs so you can encourage the lungs to take a little deeper breath. Do so. If night and the fall into winter is the time of hibernation and rest, you know, if you've ever gotten into bed after a hard day and you just took that nice deep breath in and exhale and you just finally let go, let this be true in your pose. Don't fall out of the pose, but let go of some level of tension that you're holding somewhere, somehow, that at least signals to yourself that's what you're really practicing. Take a nice breath, straighten the right leg, take both hands onto the floor near your foot or a block or blocks, chest to knee. Using walls are good. Nice job, Katie. Nice, Glinda. Good extension of your right leg. Your hamstrings getting much better. And now remember, it's a spinal extension, isn't it? From the base of your spine, the very bottom of it near your SI joint. Take a breath and let the whole spine extend, even to the base of your skull. Even if you're not going down super low, can you invite all of your body to be a part of this in some way? Not just the screaming part. Remember, you don't invite stuff to work by force. Just even awareness of moving the skull, moving the spine, starts to invite it to it. And again, use your eyes, look at your feet, make sure your feet are pushing into the floor actively. Roll your left hip forward a little bit to balance your left and right hip. Take both hands onto your hips, take a nice breath, and as you exhale, bring your body up. Turn your right toes in first, really, as best you can, and then turn your left toes out. Rotate the right hips around towards the left. Nice strong legs. Take the second as I talk and check in with your body. Are your legs active? Are you ready for the pose? Can you take a nice breath in, exhale, stretch your arms up, and then take another breath in that's a little deeper, has a little bit more lift. And then bend that left knee, extend the thigh. Let your arms lift your ribs, lift your spine. Remember the neck is part of the spine, so you lift the base of the skull. Take a nice deep breath in, take both hands to your hips, straightening the front leg. Bend forward and then hands down on blocks or the floor forward. Chest to knee. From the base of your spine to the crown of the head or the back, the base of your skull, let that extension happen. And that doesn't mean just pushing your chest down, but long and down over time. Take both hands onto your hips. Exhale, bring your body up. Turn your toes forward. Take both hands onto the floor in front of you, standing straddle. Gotta move those hamstrings on the floor. Do it, do it. Again, use your eyes, check in with your feet, check in with the placement of your hands. Use those as guides for some level of symmetry. So then you can be clear if one side's really tighter or the other, if your senses are throwing you off. Again, let that spine lengthen. Bring your body up. Come down onto your hands and knees, grab a block. You're going to squeeze it between your calf muscles. Remember, I would like for you to place each calf on the long side of the block. So you're going to squeeze the calf between, or squeeze the block between the calves and each side. So the block is nice and wide between the two. And then go to downward dog. Yep, just like that, Shubha, you got it. Place the block between your calves, squeeze the calves into the block and lift them up as you go. Walk your hands forward, Shubha. You're much taller than that, dear. There you go. Keep going, Shubha. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, there you go. That's where I want it. Nice, good length. Chaya, walk your hands forward a little bit. You're taller than that, dear. Nice extension, everybody. All right. Squeeze those calf muscles into the blocks. Feel how your thighs flex when you do that. Stretch your calf towards your heel, so your heel gets a little more action towards the floor. But when you stretch your heel down, your calf towards your heel, flex your thighs and lift your hamstring up towards your butt. So your backside of your legs are going two different directions. Calf to heel, hamstring towards glute. Use the front muscles of your legs and your abdominals to lift your hips high. And breathe. Now, check where you're overworking the pose. Are you overworking your neck and your shoulders? Do you feel compressed in your breathing so you have to untuck your chin? Let the front of your chest open. Let your chest open towards the floor. There you go. Look at your hands for a moment so you get out of over tucking the chin and try to take a breath all the way up to your collarbones and then let your head hang as it exhales, but just don't over tuck. If you curl into a ball, you never get the full extension. Push your hips back, lift your hips up. And then go for, can you hold it in such a way that you can hold it for longer so you feel the warmth the pose creates. And then feel where you're starting to strain. Feel where you're starting to fall out of the pose already. I would say that's not because you're weak or you lack, but because those areas were working harder than the other parts. Can you let your arms and legs work equal in action so that if you get tired, it's in all four parts? That's more important than having your arms get tired faster than your legs. Can you let the front body and back body both lengthen and open so you're not shortening your chest to stretch your back, nor are you shortening your back to stretch your chest? So it's really a part of finding that equilibrium where you can breathe and feel your ribs expand on both sides. And then you have to hold it and recognize all the other ways you want to do the pose, how your body wants to grip, fight, force other pieces. All right, exhale, come on down. Take the block out. Grab a yoga strap. Make a loop that is about as wide as your yoga mat. Lay on your back with the strap around each foot. Feet pressing out against the strap so the strap is tight. Yes, we are doing more of this. I see some of you looking in terror already. The shock on Shuba's face. No one is safe. Break your legs out against the strap. Push your left heel down into the floor. Oh, I'll give a few more seconds. I'm sorry. So laying on your back, press your legs out against the strap. All right. Take each hand and grab the side of your yoga mat and drag the yoga mat down towards your feet so you can set your chest and back into the floor. Push your left heel into the floor and against the strap. Now pick your right leg up as high as you can, pulling the strap tight so you feel that resistance. Grab your yoga mat, pull on it the whole time to help set your core and back. And if you feel like you're really strong and you don't need to grab the mat, you can stretch your arms overhead for a harder time, but that's up to you. Bring your right leg down, push your right heel hard into the floor, push your right leg against the strap, lift your left leg up as high as you can. Woo, gotta work those core muscles. Focus. Take a breath, take both legs straight up. Straight up into the air, get them up. Break that strap. Keep your right leg in the air as high as it is. Take your left leg down, letting the weight of your left leg kind of hang into the strap. Oh, come on, Sanjeev, you can do this, bud. Switch your legs, take your left leg up, get it strong, flex it, and then let your right leg hang down on it. Both legs up. Keeping both legs up as high as you can. Take both legs to the right about 10 inches. Small twist. To the left. Don't be afraid to pull on the yoga mat. You can use it. Bring your legs up. Take both legs down to the floor. Make your strap a little bigger. The cat's watching you. When you're ready, lay back. Grab your yoga mat, pull the mat down and away. Pick both legs straight up. Break the strap. Bend both knees as much as you can, but when you bend them, it's not to bring your feet down. When you bend your knees, pull your knees closer to your chest as you break against the strap. Yeah, that's really hard to do, to bend the knees and make the hip fold. Now break against that strap, point your knees towards each other a little bit as you squeeze them towards the chest. And now keep your knees as close as they are towards your chest And you can take your hands, one of a few times, take your hands, grab the back of your knees, keep your thighs close to you, stretch your legs straight while breaking the strap. Ooh. Like supine standing straddle. Supine straddle. Bend your knees again, but when you bend your knees, pull your thighs closer to your body so the thighs flex, the abdominals flex. Turn your knees towards each other a little bit so it's twisting the thigh in, and then stretch the leg long again. Really extend those hamstrings. I see the shaking happening. That's good. That means we're right up on tight hamstring and low back muscle. All those tight stuff in your hips. If you're shaking, grab those back of those legs, Chaya. Grab them. There you go. Now push those legs on that strap. There you go, dear. Lower both legs onto the ground. Grab your yoga mat, pull the yoga mat down away from you a little bit, stretch your upper back. Pick up both heels 1 inch off the floor, keeping the strap tight. Take both legs to the left as far as you can. Hold. Keeping the heels 1 inch, don't let each heel go higher. Breathe. 1 inch off the floor, both legs to the left. Now swing them to the right, keeping them about 1 inch. Keep the legs strong. Keep your focus, your breathing. To the left. Swing both legs to the left. Both heels 1 inch. Strap tight. Not that one. To the right. Swing them both to the right now. Last side. Come on, don't quit. Exhale, down you go. Take the strap off. Hook it around your right foot and stretch your right leg up to the ceiling, laying on your back, please. Supta Padangusthasana. The metatarsal. So strap hooked around the foot, make sure your right leg is straight. Even if you have to lower the leg down, get that straightness. I would rather that be true. And then flex the toes of the right foot. Pull the toes towards the face. It's called dorsal flexion of the foot. That arch, that calf. Good. However hard you're pulling on the right leg, back off a little bit so you can work your left thigh more. Push your left thigh down, stretch your left leg away from you. Still flexing the right foot. Take your right leg across the body all the way, holding the strap with your left hand. So you rotate the right leg across into a twist. Your right hip comes up off the floor. Still flexing your left thigh and stretching your left leg away from the body. Nice and long. And then breathe deeper into the lungs, especially the right side of your ribs. When you take a breath in there, as you exhale, it's not pushing your shoulder or neck down. Stretch your ribs to the right as you stretch your right leg to the left. Bring your leg up. Now with your leg in the air, the strap around the 5 joints of the foot, the metatarsal. Stop flexing your foot. And I want you to point your foot. And then there's the inner part of the foot, which is near the arch in the inner heel. I want you to, pulling on the inner strap, roll the foot. So it's like the sole of your foot is trying to roll to the inside. Your leg is still going to stay straight. Your knee is still going to point at your head. But then you twist that foot around and then pull on the strap a little bit to stretch through that outer ankle and calf. So you can see Tristan's twisting the foot internally. If I grab a hold of it and rotate it more, she's going to punch me, but remember, when you rotate the arch of the foot internal, or rotate that foot to face in like that, you'll also want to rotate through the heel. So it really works that outer ankle down through the whole outer calf. And then pulling on your inner strap more, take the leg across your body about 10 inches, keeping your right hip on the floor and still twisting that. You'll feel how your ankle connects down to your hip. Correct. Your right knee still points at your nose. Down to your hip. Bring the body up, switch your legs. Left leg up into the air, like left leg long, even if it has to lower a little bit to do so. Flex the left foot, pull the toes back to start to really stretch through that. Tell your student. Just nice elongation of the hamstring. Take your left leg across to the right, rotating into the twist. Letting your left hip come up off the floor, so you're rolling onto the outside of the right hip. Once you've gone across to whatever degree, still stretching that right leg away, nice and active in the leg. Take a breath into the left ribs. Breathe deeper into the left rib cage, lung, and let your left ribs stretch to the left more as your left leg goes to the right. And breathe. Take a breath, bring your leg up. Point your foot, holding onto the strap, 2 hands. Rotate the foot in, so the arch of the foot is kind of rolling to your right side, pulling more on that inner strap. Remember to roll the ankle so you feel that widening and extension of that whole outer side of it. Even it might even go down throughout the whole calf. Kind of breathe into that for a moment. Take your left leg across to the right, 10, 15 inches. Try to lengthen your left leg, Shubha. Don't worry about pulling it as far across. There you go, dear. Bring your left leg up. Take the leg down. Grab a bolster if you have one, or yoga blankets or couch cushions. That even works. Place it behind you, lengthways, and lay back. If you would like a blanket for your head or neck, go ahead, grab one. It is not restorative. Do not get that, that excited. Laying on your bolster or your blanket or your couch cushion or whatever you're using. Go ahead, bend both knees. Slide your right foot under your left thigh. Let your right knee fall towards the floor. The more stretch you want, the more you bring your right foot towards your left hip. Then take your left foot, place it on your right thigh. And let your left knee fall to the floor. So you're working this variation of Supta Padmasana. That's it. You're letting the left leg weight press down into the right thigh. You're letting gravity drop the left knee so you get some opening, hip growing back. Left foot on the right side, on top of it. Take your left foot up, Shubha, into the air. And now put it on your right thigh muscle. And now let your left knee fall to your left. Yeah, there you go. And breathe. Stretch both arms overhead, lengthening through the side of the body. Extend the arms, stretching the back side of the body. Flex the thighs, not to push the knees down, but stretch the thigh muscles away from the body. Take your legs out of the pose. Both knees bent, feet flat to the floor. Slide your left foot under your right leg. Place your right foot on your left thigh. Let both knees fall towards the floor. Then stretch your arms overhead, lengthen the body. Okay. On an exhale, take your legs out. Stretch your left leg straight out, laying your leg onto the floor, please. Draw your right knee to your chest. Take your left hand onto your right knee on the outside of it. Bring your right leg across to the left into a twist. Letting your right arm relax and try to let your right ribs stretch towards the bolster as you draw that right leg across. Try to keep your right ribs pinned and pull the leg. This isn't like the normal twist where your ribs will come up off the support. In this one, I want you to try and keep your ribs firm on the bolster and pull that leg across with your hand, because you're doing kind of a variation to the same work you would do to your hip in, say, in your SI joint as in, say, Bharadvajasana. So it's a way more core-based pose where your abdominals and your rib muscle and your muscles in your rib cage pin those ribs to the bolster, and your arm pulls the leg across. Way more about adjusting the inner hip muscles and the sacral plate, less about the deep twist of your low back. Just hold. Breathe. Untwist. Stretch your right leg out. Bend your left knee. Pull the left leg to the body. Right hand pulls the left leg across as best you can while keeping your left ribs on the bolster. You may not go very far. Take a nice deep breath in, untwist, stretch your legs out. Let your eyes close. If you would like to lay just flat on the floor or put support under your legs instead, please do so now. Let your eyes close, friends, for the next few minutes. Take a little longer rest. Hard things have happened, whether you've worked hard or things have come up in your life that are hard or difficult. They've happened. They happen to everybody. But you're here. And regardless of what anyone else would think of the difficulty of what you've been through, let your time right now, the Savasana, be about giving yourself what you need, regardless of what you were taught or what anyone else would think. But this is for you with no fine print, no buts, no ands or ors. It's just your time. Each breath in is for you, so appreciate it, love it, let it enrich you. And rest for the remainder of our time and enjoy the fruits of your yogic practice.